I was a junior at Westbridge High, a place that felt more like a prison than a school. It was a rainy Tuesday, and we were in the middle of a lockdown drill. You know, the usual, lights off, doors locked, everyone huddled under desks. I was in history class, crouched next to my friend Jake, who was doodling skulls on his sneakers. The teacher, Mrs. Callahan, kept shushing us, but it was hard to take it seriously. We'd done these drills a million times. Then we heard it, a faint whisper, like someone muttering just outside the door. At first, I thought it was the janitor or maybe a kid screwing around. But the whispering didn't stop, it got louder, sharper, like it was coming from inside the room. Jake nudged me, his eyes wide. "You hear that?" he mouthed. I nodded, my heart starting to race. The whispers weren't words, not exactly, but they felt wrong. Like they were crawling into your head, picking at your thoughts. Mrs. Callahan stood up, her face pale, and tiptoed to the door. She peeked through the window, then turned back to us, shaking her head. "Nobody's there," she whispered, but her voice was shaky. The whispering stopped for a second, and we all held our breath. Then, from the lockers at the back of the room, there was a soft thud, like something heavy shifting inside. We all froze. The lockers were old, rusted, barely used. Nobody ever opened them. Another thud, then a low, guttural chuckle. My stomach twisted. Jake grabbed my arm so hard it hurt. Mrs. Callahan crept toward the lockers, her hands trembling as she reached for the handle of the first one. "Don't," I wanted to scream, but my voice was stuck in my throat. She yanked the door open. Empty. She opened the next one. Empty again. The class was dead silent, except for the rain pelting the windows. Then the last locker started to rattle. Not loud, but steady, like something was trying to get out. The whispering came back, louder now, a chorus of voices overlapping, hissing. Mrs. Callahan backed away, her face white as a sheet. The locker door creaked open on its own, just a crack. And then we saw it, a hand, pale and bony, curling around the edge of the door. The fingers were too long, the nails black and jagged. A low, rasping voice whispered my name. My name. I felt my blood go cold. The lights flickered, and the locker door slammed shut. The whispering stopped. We sat there, shaking, until the principal's voice crackled over the intercom, saying the drill was over. Nobody moved for a long time. When we finally left, the lockers were silent. But that night, I heard the whispering again, coming from my closet. And when I opened it, I saw those same black nails scratching at the wood. It was my first year at Lincoln High, and I hated everything about it. The school was ancient, with creaky floors and a gym that smelled like mold. We had a lockdown one afternoon, a real one, not a drill. Some vague announcement about an intruder sent us scrambling. I was in PE, so we all piled into the gym storage room, this cramped, dusty space filled with old mats and broken basketballs. Coach Riley locked the door and told us to stay quiet. There were about 20 of us, squished together, trying not to freak out. My friend Mia was next to me, chewing her nails. The air was thick, and it felt like we were suffocating. We could hear sirens outside, faint but getting closer. Coach kept checking his phone, muttering about how everything was fine, but it didn't feel fine. The storage room had no windows, just one flickering light bulb swinging above us. Then we heard footsteps, slow, deliberate, coming from the gym. Everyone went dead silent. Coach held up a hand, listening. The footsteps stopped right outside the storage room door. Mia grabbed my hand, her fingers ice cold. There was a long pause, and then a soft tap 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 on the door. Coach's face went gray. He mouthed, "Stay still." The tapping stopped, and I thought maybe it was over. But then I saw it, a shadow moving under the door, like someone was standing right there. Except it didn't look human. It was too tall, too thin, the edges jagged, like it was fraying into the air. My chest tightened. I couldn't breathe. The shadow slid along the floor, stretching toward us, and I swear it was watching us. Someone whimpered, and the shadow froze. Then the door handle jiggled, slow at first, then faster, like whoever, or whatever, was out there was desperate to get in. Coach lunged for the door, holding it shut, his face dripping with sweat. The jiggling stopped, and the shadow vanished. We sat there, hearts pounding, waiting for the all clear. When the cops finally came, they said they'd found no one. The gym was empty, the school secure. But as we left, I looked back at the storage room door. There were scratches on the outside, deep and uneven, like something had clawed at it. That night, I woke up to tapping at my window. When I looked, the shadow was there, pressed against the glass, its jagged edges smiling. I went to a small school, the kind where everyone knows everyone. It was my senior year, and we had a lockdown during lunch. No explanation, just the principal's voice barking over the speakers to get to the nearest room. I was in the hallway, so I ducked into the girls' bathroom with 3 other girls, Lila, Sarah, and a freshman I didn't know. We locked the door and crouched by the sinks, trying to stay calm. The bathroom was old, with cracked tiles and a mirror that always looked foggy. Lila was texting her mom, Sarah was whispering prayers, and the freshman was just staring at the floor, shaking. I tried to keep it together, but the silence was heavy, like the air was pressing down on us. We could hear muffled voices outside, teachers maybe, but nothing clear. Then the lights flickered. Just once, but it made us all jump. Sarah grabbed my arm. "Did you hear that?" she whispered. I hadn't heard anything, but now I was listening hard. There it was, a soft giggle, coming from one of the stalls. We all turned, staring at the row of closed doors. The freshman whimpered. I thought we were alone. Lila, trying to be brave, stood up and pushed open the first stall door. Empty. She checked the next one. Empty. The giggling came again, louder, from the last stall. My mouth went dry. Lila hesitated, then shoved the door open. Nobody was there, but the toilet was running, water swirling like someone had just flushed it. We backed away, huddling by the sinks again. The giggling turned into humming, a creepy little tune that made my skin crawl. The mirror started to fog up, like someone was breathing on it. Sarah screamed, pointing at the glass. Words were forming in the fog, scratched out in jagged letters. I see you. The lights went out completely. The humming stopped, and for a second, it was just our breathing. Then the stall door at the end of the row slammed open, and footsteps, small, bare feet, slapped across the tiles toward us. We scrambled for the door, fumbling with the lock, screaming. The footsteps stopped right behind us. The lights snapped back on, and the bathroom was empty. No words on the mirror, no water in the toilet. The all clear came over the intercom, and we ran out, crying, shaking. The principal said it was a false alarm, no threat found. But that night, I looked in my bathroom mirror, and there she was, a girl with hollow eyes, humming that same tune, her cold fingers brushing my reflection.